No, all right there. Well, no countdown here. So yeah, I went to StreamYard because as if you have returned to the channel, you have seen that uh, Riverside FM didn't record the other screen, and I do. Oh God, I hope it does here. Anyway, there's no need for recording here. Today, Rob Schneider. So this is the podcast that will never friggin' go away, right? The Joe Rogan, Murray, and Dave Smith. Uh, Roger Murray. I don't know why I want to call him that, but Murray and Dave Smith is still ongoing. I Konstantin Kissinger from the Trigonometry Pro podcast made what I thought was a very measured, um, response to the podcast, and then now the debate is now going on for what, day five. Anyway, so Rob Schneider in on online and in typical Twitter fashion, has said some things about Kissinger that just simply wasn't true. And then he comes out with this tweet, and you're going to have to suffer. I'm going to read a little bit of it, and you're going to have to suffer through that. I'm sorry. Anyway, I stand corrected. Oh dear, our dear worthy, and obviously brilliant British for smarty pants friend, the expensively overeducated constant Kissinger is not and does not ask for free speech to be moderated. Quite quite the opposite. Anyway, here is where the thing goes on, and I'm not going to make you suffer much more. Except for this is the part where I got interested in the tweet. I apologize unreservedly. I made a mistake, perhaps because KK of Kissinger is not a free speech absolutist, begging the question: what is minimal moderation? What speech are you leaving the door open for restriction? I, inexpensively educated, me too, as you can hear, advocate for no restrictions on speed whatsoever. The idea is absurd, blah, 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 blah. I am also a free speech absolutist, but I do struggle. We as Americans have a right to fight openly, freely, and fairly with each other about how America should be and how we should act in the world and how it should be to be an American and live here. What kind of poverty do we accept? What kind of wealth do we accept? How should America be? And this should be a debate for Americans, right? No restriction on that debate. I think we can all agree on that. Absolutely no restriction. However, as we have seen, especially after the war in in Israel, between Israel and Hamas, or Israel and Gaza, and the Ukraine war, we're not able to have this conversation because our public square is inundated not only with foreigners who, in good faith, want to have an input, but with bad actors and bot farms that are looking to sway the American public, which I have a right to do. Rob has a right to do. The businesses here have a right to do. And obviously, the government has a right to try to say, hey, listen, this is what we want to do. We want to convince you this is the way to go. We can then put restrictions on that in here, but that's fucking up to us, Americans. So I don't know how we can have a functioning democracy if we allow bad actors, bad nations that do not have our best at heart access to our public square. So I do struggle with that a lot. I don't know how to fit that with my free speech absolutism. And I also don't want to protect us from real people who suffer the consequences of our foreign policies and our actions and our doings in the world. But I don't want to fucking be arguing with some bot or some influencer from Singapore about what goes on in America. I don't give a shit about his opinion. He doesn't live here. He shouldn't have an influence on our debate. And they do. And then when it suits into whatever the fuck is going on in Elon's mind, right? Then these accounts, foreign accounts, are pushed into our debate, I have to fucking contend with some bitch from Denmark every day before the election, when every fucking Nazi and every fucking pro-Palestinian account was pushed into the algorithm. And I'm not saying there is not an overwhelming support for the Gazan people, but this was, I've never seen anything like it. And you know why I know it was pushed in? Because it's nowhere to be found right now. Nowhere. So I don't know. I want to have a conversation with Rob. Rob, what do we do? How should we tax things? How should we make sure that we build an infrastructure that is not just up to date, but one that is geared for the future? What should the future look like? What do we do when we have when there's no jobs for everybody? How is a fully automated life going to benefit everybody? How is the new medical advances going to trickle down to everyone? I want to have those conversations with Rob. But I can't fucking have him because there's a million fucking bots on Twitter. I can't fucking hear the smartest people in the room from the screams from the bots. So I don't know, Rob. I would love to have this conversation with you. I don't know. I don't have the answers, but I know this is not working. We're not getting to the truth. We can't even have there's a concerted effort to destroy what is left of what we all can agree on is real. And some of that comes from domestic players, but a lot of that comes from foreign players. They know they can't take down America from the outside, or it's going to be very hard. And they will have population collapse before they have the technology to do it. So they got to do it this way. So I asked Rob, what are we going to do? How are you and I going to have a conversation, or somebody that's, has an account large enough to have an account conversation with you? But like, how am I going to hear the best and the brightest, even the amateurs? I don't know. I'm open to anything. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I will post this, obviously, not only on YouTube, but a link under your comment. I obviously don't expect you to even listen to it. But anyway, for anybody else that want to have this conversation, I would love to know, what do we do? How do we ensure that we get truth and context, and people that know what the fuck they're talking to are lifted up, and not the people with the coolest whatever gimmick who knows how to manipulate the algorithm, or who are pushed forward by the people who own the algorithm because they serve a purpose for them. I don't know, but it is a conversation that we need to have, and I would love to have it.